Hello, this is Professor James Strickler, and this is A Course in American Government. This lesson from Unit 6 about interest groups and political parties. It's Lesson 12 about party structure. In this lesson, you'll learn about the National Party Convention, about the party platform, about the Party National Committee, and about state political parties. Now, in a previous lesson, when we talked about the president getting elected, back in Unit 5 about the presidency, we talked about the National Party Convention. In that unit, we described it as basically a pep rally, because you go in, you already know who the presidential nominee is going to be, but you hold a multi-day event built around his official selection as a way to build up support for him or her. But there's more to a political party convention than just that. The political party convention is actually the supreme authority in a political party. It's the one where the real power to rule the party exists. It is what rules a political party. So let's talk about some features of a national party convention. What it does, it's sort of its formal duties. First of all, the one we already mentioned is it selects the presidential nominee. Now remember from Unit 5 about the presidency how this works. Primaries and caucuses are held in states. Based on the votes in those primaries and caucuses, delegates are selected, who then attend the national convention for the political party. There, eventually, they get a chance to officially vote on who the nominee will be, and that way the nominee is officially chosen as the representative of the party. Now, along the way, we can count up the delegates and we can know who they support, and we can go into the convention knowing who's already going to win. But that still doesn't change the fact that it's the convention that actually picks that winner. Which means that if in an unusual situation, after all the primaries and caucuses, we still didn't have a candidate who actually had a majority before entering the convention could pick somebody else if they wanted to, besides whoever had won a majority of the votes in the primaries. So long as they hadn't actually captured a majority of the delegates, then we wouldn't know who was going to win beforehand. The reason is because the delegates are the ones who actually officially choose the nominee. It's a very important function of the convention, even if in practice we already know who's going to win that vote when it comes. The second thing that a national political party convention does is it adopts what is called a party platform. A party platform is a document prepared by first a committee and then accepted by the convention as a whole that states the beliefs of that political party. In other words, the things upon which they stand. They want the world to know their basic policy preferences, their ideological positions, so that people will then be able to evaluate them and they hope embrace those same things and vote for their candidates. It's the National Convention that produces this list of what the party believes in. A third feature, or I should say a third duty of a national convention, is to set the rules for the political party. Being the supreme authority in the party, they're the ones that set the rules for everyone else. Most prominently, they set the rules for how the presidential nominee will be chosen. So, party rules include how the presidential nominee will be chosen. That's the most important feature of those party rules, although they deal with other things too. The last element to recognize about national party conventions is that they're only held every 4 years. Now, this is important to realize because with them only occurring every 4 years, they can't always keep track of what's going on in the party. They can't always be there to help out with what needs to be helped out with. So what happens between the national party conventions? It's the Party National Committee that is around in those periods between the conventions to be in charge. So now we're going to look at what the National Party Committee does. And the first and most obvious of those things, which I already mentioned when introducing the idea of a national party committee, is that they lead the political party between the conventions. Now, at the time of the convention itself is the authority. They can boss the national committee around. But in between the conventions, the national committee keeps the party going. Well, how do they do that? Well, first of all, they have a responsibility to recruit candidates, to go around the country to find people who are members of their party or who they believe would support the views of their party, and then convince them to run for public office. Once they found people to run for public office, the National Committee then coordinates strategy among them, tries to get them to all talk about the same things, make the same points, so that the party is presenting a coherent view to voters. So voters can look at the political party and understand what it's about as they're hearing this consistent message from all their candidates. They also support the candidates by assisting with their campaigns, most prominently by raising money for them, and then also providing other services to the campaign, perhaps running their own commercials, for example. Now, in addition to the national political party and the National Party Committee, each state has its own political parties also. So, for example, there's a Democratic political party of California and a Republican political party of California, in addition to the national political parties. Well, why do you need to have these state parties? Because they serve basically the same function at the state level that the national party serves for the entire country. So, in a given state, the person running for governor as a representative of a political party may in fact have to be chosen by that state's political party convention to fill that position, just as the presidential nominee of the party is chosen by the national convention. So on the state level, you have the state political party recruiting candidates, trying to get them to have a consistent strategy, trying to support their campaigns by raising funds, that sort of thing. They're doing the same thing at the state level that the national political party does at the national level. Okay, now let's review what we learned in this lesson. First of all, what is the main purpose of a national convention? Is it to create laws, organize state political parties, choose a presidential candidate, or raise money? The National Party Convention's main purpose is to choose a presidential candidate, officially. What is a party platform? Is it a statement of beliefs? Is it a convention agenda? Is it the speaker's podium? Is it a list of past successes of the party? A party platform, the thing they stand on, that they want the world to see them representing, is their statement of beliefs. What does the National Committee do? Does it write the party platform? Does it choose the party's presidential nominee? Does it recruit candidates for other offices? Or does it set the nomination rules? The National Committee recruits candidates to run for office. Who will be the most closely involved in selecting a governor? Will it be the state political party, the party national convention, the party national committee, or the party platform committee? Well, governor is a state office. The governor is the chief executive of a state. So it's the state political party that will be most closely involved in the process of selecting the candidates that then try to become governor of that state. That completes this lesson. The next lesson from Unit 6 will be Lesson 13, about why we have two major political parties and not more or less.